Hey everyone! Hi. There we go. Welcome to the latest edition of Recapping the Past, as we're calling it this time, Ron Swanson's List of Sweatiness, Season 3. I'm, as usual, I'm your friendly neighborhood soda. This instance, I'm portraying Sweetums, and I have Ben Macklin, FBI. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Great. Started a new job this week. I'm tired. I'm happy. Sun's out. Life's going good, man. Life's going good.
Yeah. Isn't that the sweet spot of the summer where everything is coming up?
Right.
And whatnot.
And where I'm at, we're starting to get out of COVID. We're in our phase 3, so we're allowed to walk around with masks. This Saturday, I'm going to be spending time with my friends for the first time in 15 months. Get to meet my newborn niece properly. It's just, life is good right now. I can't complain. Except for maybe about the heat and the allergies, but I digress.
Yeah, same here.
But yeah, so as you know by now, Ben and I sit here and we watch a TV series, and every week we review a season. Now we're on season 3 of Parks and Rec, which is considered by many the start of the best years of Parks and Recreation. Because in this year we get the formation of Ben and Leslie's relationship and what they have to do to keep it from Chris. We get more little Sebastian. We get the debut of probably the most iconic song to ever be written from Parks and Recreation, which is hands down the best, 5,000 Candles in the Wind. There's a lot of good stuff in this season to talk about.
Yeah, I'm not ready, so why don't you want to get started or should I?
Sure, I'll start it this time, and I'm not going to lie, I'm trying to think this might be my favorite season. That's something I'm paying attention to right now.
There's something I wanted to ask you. Do you think, unlike The Office, where it was all good, but I think most people agree seasons 4 through 7 are like the best, and 7 and 8 and 9 kind of dip? There is no dipping in this show.
Exactly.
Right?
Once you get past season 2 and it hits the plateau, it just keeps getting higher.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
right.
That's the thing. That's the beauty about the show is it ended when it was the right time, and yeah, there was no dip in quality, and you're gonna see that as we go forward in the next few weeks.
And I have to admit, I loved that I can't find that COVID special anywhere. It was like on one night only, and then disappeared.
Yeah, that is really, really weird. I'm going to quickly Google that. Parks and Rec.
Maybe because it was like, what do you call it? Not charity, but they took donations, so maybe that had a part to do with it, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's really, really weird that you can't get it anywhere. I'll have to do some digging into that. I mean, to be honest, it's actually probably my least favorite of anything of Parks and Rec.
Oh, really?
Good. Yeah, well, I mean, it was good, but I mean, it just when it's like comparing apples and oranges, if that makes sense. It's like the series itself was so good that for me, the pandemic special had a hard time living up to it. It didn't quite do it, but there was some fun stuff.
Gotcha.
And the way they were able to explain why like Leslie and Ben weren't in the same room and why April and Andy weren't in the same room was funny. Like, I'm just gonna spoil it. Andy locked himself in the storage shed. So he does the whole thing from Chris Pratt's storage shed.
Do you remember each of the explanations?
No, I can't remember off the top of my head.
Okay, all right.
Actually, but I do have it here. I do have the Parks and Rec special on Wikipedia, but it doesn't actually tell me.
You know, we can do this later. Not get into our top 5.
Yeah. Okay, actually, it does say when they do the cast, it tells you what they're doing. Okay, so Leslie Knope reaches out to her friends as part of her daily phone tree. And with that, each character offers a glimpse in their day-to-day lives. Leslie is leading several committees she created in response to the quarantine. Ben decides to make a claymation film based on his board game, The Cones of Dunshire, but later comes to his senses and abandons the project. Ron is in his cabin. He thinks Leslie's daily conversations with him are unnecessary. He later shows that his ex-wife, Tammy 2, has snuck up to his cabin and is now tied up until he can deliver her to the authorities. Yes, you do see Megan Mullally bound and gagged to a chair. Yeah. April randomly selects 5 items from a bag to wear each day. Andy has accidentally locked himself in his shed. Chris regularly donates blood due to his extremely good health. Anne has returned to work as a nurse and is isolating herself from Chris and their kids. Tom's book tour in Bali was canceled, so he sits in front of a green screen with an image of Bali. Donna expresses support for teachers after seeing what her husband has been experiencing, and Gary, whom the others had avoided calling, explains the challenges he has faced as mayor of Pawnee during the pandemic. And then, of course, Leslie and Ben appear on Joan Calamezzo and Perd Hapley's talk show to discuss the pandemic. And you do see Johnny Karate, who appears on Perd's show to reassure kids about the ongoing situation. And fictional advertisement shows that Dennis Feinstein promotes a cologne that supposedly kills all viruses. Councilman Jam announces his plan to deliver dental equipment to homes and walk patients through procedures themselves. And John Raphael buys a commercial so people can call him because he is bored. And to end it, Leslie tells Ron that despite her daily calls, she still misses her friends. So to cheer her up, Ron arranges for the others to join a group call, and they sing 5,000 Candles in the Wind to her. And Leslie thanks Ron for the gesture, and that's how it ends.
Nice.
Reading that, and it's like, okay, maybe it wasn't as bad as I thought it was, but still, it's not as good as everything else.
No, I get that. And
it's just that one kind of felt a little bit more rushed than the other reunions did, if that makes sense.
I wonder why.
But no, I just mean it feels like the others had more time to like cultivate their ideas, whereas this one, it's like it was announced and like 2 weeks later it aired, sort of thing.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. All right, so let's just hop right into the list. So I'm gonna go first. So my number 5 is Jerry's painting.
Not on my list.
And apparently it's not in season 3 on Wikipedia either. Oh, there it is, number 11. Okay. Feeling frustrated and powerless because of her situation with Ben, Leslie finds strength in a painting Jerry contributes to a community art show, which depicts her as a powerful and bare-chested Greek goddess. The painting immediately causes a stir and prompts calls for it to be destroyed, which Leslie emphatically protests. Tom supports destruction of the painting, which depicts him as a pot-bellied cherub. Ben gets tired of living in a hotel and moves in with April and Andy, only to discover the place is filthy and they do not know how to take care of themselves. He resolves to teach them how to be adults, which April initially resists because she does not want to lose her individuality. Leslie eventually swaps the painting with a duplicate Jerry makes that depicts Tom as the Greek god and allows Leslie to keep the empowering painting. So this was the first appearance of the nosy know-it-all Marcia Langman, who every time something controversial comes up that's against the Bible, she pops up and makes a massive stir about it. And this instance, she says the picture promotes bestiality. And it's like, you need to do your research there, sister. Yeah.
God, I hated that character.
Yeah, she's so annoying. And so I'm sitting there, it's like, you have no right to complain, bitch. You married a gay guy, and the only reason he married you is because nobody else wanted to. Cow. And then, and this is also the introduction of the famed pornographic film actress Brandy Max, who every time she appears looks a lot like Leslie Knope.
Oh.
Yeah, it's true. If you do pay attention, whenever she's on, she is dressed similarly to Leslie. Yeah, so that's my number 5, Jerry's painting, because the whole scenario is ridiculous, but good, and it's a great painting. And
nice.
Jerry is a great artist.
Okay, I'm going to say my number 5, but you might even get ready with your number 4 because it's going to get
Can I take a guess? It's Ron and Tammy too, isn't it?
No, it's not.
What is it?
Then there's Sebastian.
Yeah, that's also a punt. Okay, then. So my number 4 is episode 6, Indianapolis.
Not on my list.
Okay. This episode birthed the great Ron Swanson meme, give me all the bacon and eggs you have. That's the episode that comes from. Ron and Leslie head to Indianapolis to receive a commendation for reviving the Harvest Festival. Before they leave, Anne confides in Leslie that she thinks Chris might be cheating on her. Leslie searches Chris's house for clues, which prompts Anne to come to Indianapolis herself to confront Chris. However, Anne is humiliated to learn that Chris previously broke up with her, but did so in such a positive way that she did not realize it. Meanwhile, Tom and Ben bond at a club where Tom hopes to pitch his cologne, Tommy Fresh, to fragrance mogul Dennis Feinstein. Ben comforts Tom after Feinstein rejects and insults Tom's fragrance. Meanwhile, at the same bar, April and Andy compete to see who can win the most free stuff. Now, this is Ron's journey in this episode is interesting because he's exposed to vegan food for the first time in the series. He arrives in Indianapolis to find that Morton's Steakhouse, his favorite steakhouse that he has had a picture taken of him at every time he's been, has been closed due to health and safety violations. Yeah. So that's when he goes to Chris's house. Chris doesn't have anything he wants. He says, salad, that's food rabbit eat. Then he leaves and he goes to the diner where he asks, I want all your bacon and eggs. No, wait, I don't think you heard me. When I said all your bacon and eggs, I meant all the bacon and eggs. It's a fun episode, and a lot of great moments come from this that are, when you think of Parks and Rec, you think of those moments.
I love the moment where Ron realizes what Chris is making and he nearly passes out.
Yeah, because it's a mushroom burger, isn't it? This is the one with the mushroom burger? Yeah. Dear God. I love Ron. But be a little more open.
And I love how Chris is so nice and didn't realize he broke up with her.
Yeah, that's oh my God. Like, that is genius. That is genius.
Oh my God. Can you imagine Chandler being that nice that Chandler realizes and never realizes he broke up with her?
Well, here's the thing. I don't think any of the Friends gang have it in them to be that nice.
That's true. Neither do the Seinfeld gang. But
nor the How I Met Your Mother characters. Well, maybe Mark.
No. I think Barney has it in him only to be a play.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like,
but Marshall will be the one to do it because he is that good of a dude.
No, Marshall can do it. Marshall can do it easy. I think.
Yeah, I'm with you 100% in agreement on there. All right, so let's see what your number 4 is and if I have to punt it.
Soulmate.
Nope. No relation to Leslie. Just nope. This is what Matt looks like when he's not depressed and he's in a good mood.
Really?
Yep.
Good to know.
This is me. This is what it looks like.
Good to know.
All right, Ben.
Amy goes to a dating service only to find out her perfect soulmate is Tom. And when he finds out about this, he exploits the hell out of it.
As he would.
Oh my God, this episode is so funny. What are your thoughts on this episode?
Okay, now this is a little bit of a peek into Tom's personality because he created a profile with the middle initial for every letter of the alphabet. To the point he actually had to ask Leslie which one did he get, and he got the most. She got the most boring one. Yeah, so that's pretty good. What else? Oh yeah, and then of course Ron, in order to prevent Chris from banning red meat from the cafeteria, challenges Chris to a cook-off.
Oh my God!
Chris wants to make the lean turkey burgers, and Ron just a traditional hamburger, no fixins. Then Ron wins. Even Chris admits that it's better than his crap.
I love it. I love that moment when Chris takes a hamburger. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's his menu.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, turkey burgers aren't that bad, but no, there's nothing compared to
now you mean a real traditional
yeah.
hamburger.
Okay, what do you like on your hamburgers?
I like everything except from pickles.
Really?
Yep.
I'm mayo, ketchup, mustard, cheese, bacon, lettuce, tomato, no onions because I'm not that big a fan of onions. Pickles. Yeah. It's occasionally sauteed mushrooms if I want to get fancy.
My mouth is wandering.
Sorry for food talk.
Oh no. Yeah. What I would, yeah. Anyway, what is your number 4 before we get
My number
to
3.
Your number 3. Sorry.
It is The Fight.
Good.
Okay. What's your number 3?
Ron and Tammy 2.
Punt. Of course.
Okay, your number 2.
The punt from earlier, Little Sebastian. Now, I'm not going to lie. This and spoilers, my number 1 is Ron and Tammy 2. I had to sit here. It's just like Little Sebastian for the longest time I thought was my favorite episode. It has my favorite moment, but this rewatch, I realized, no, it's actually my number 2.
I am shocked. Shocked.
Yeah. Okay. So,
take it away, my man.
Connie's favorite miniature horse, Little Sebastian, which I'm with Ben, I don't see the appeal, dies. Oh, yes! Yes, I approve. That was literally the best surprise ever. Okay. So Little Sebastian dies, and the park department organizes a memorial service. The extremely health-conscious Chris learns he has tendinitis and takes it very badly, but is comforted by Anne. Leslie and Ben have trouble keeping their relationship secret, and their efforts to do so causes problems with Little Sebastian's eternal flame that nearly kill Ron with a fireball. Tom and his friend John Ralphio successfully organize Little Sebastian's service, and Andy comes up with an amazing memorial song. Tom finally hands in his letter of resignation to Ron, who sadly accepts it and bids farewell to him. After the service, Ron is taunted by his ex-wife Tammy, but both are horrified to learn his first ex-wife, also named Tammy, has arrived in town. Leslie is approached to possibly consider running for elective office, but when asked about any potential scandals, she neglects to admit her secret affair with Ben, and that's how the season ends. Your thoughts?
I love this episode. I never understood why there's a war. Why it was a scandal for Ben and Leslie to take.
So that was it. It honestly, in most places, it's more frowned upon than it is. But this was more Chris's personal rule, is what it was.
Yeah,
and I guess in Pawnee, it was also still against the rules as well.
To me, I just found it weak, but that's just me. Maybe I'm wrong.
Hey man, I'll take weak for any time I can see Ron Swanson without eyebrows, and I am trying to find the pic.
Oh, man.
No, this is a great episode because basically what happened is Ron and Leslie are caught making out by a maintenance dude, and in order to hush him up, they give him like a gift certificate to a place, and they say he can go home, a full day's pay now. But this was the guy that was supposed to light the eternal flame with lighter fluid, so they get Jerry to do it, but Jerry accidentally puts gasoline. Or is it the other way around? Either way, Jerry puts the wrong flammable substance in there and doesn't tell anybody until Ron is actually going to light the flame. And when he does, just whoosh. And oh my God, give me a second to load it, because this is amazing. And this is how Ron looks. Now, this is one of the things I love about Nick Offerman, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned it last episode for the first Ron and Tammy episode, is he actually commits. He did shave off his eyebrows. He did do that to his mustache. He actually commits to the part.
Really? Oh, God, he's so funny.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it completely singes off the front. It's great. I would highly recommend this. Yeah, like I said, for a long time, this was my number one for that little Sebastian tribute, and of course, it gave us the great 5,000. Gave us the great 5,000 Candles in the Wind, which just recently they announced that they're actually releasing a Mousetrap album of all the songs that are from the show. And when they announce those, they sometimes will release early tracks. One of them was 5,000 Candles in the Wind. So go to iTunes or Spotify and download it, and you're welcome. All right, what's your number two?
The Fight.
All right. Now, this one's got some fun tidbits in it.
You want to explain them?
Okay, so The Fight. A job opens up with the health department, and Leslie immediately recommends Anne, who is unenthusiastic about having to leave her nursing job and the amount of prep work there is for the interview the next day. When the parks department comes out to the Snake Hole Lounge Bar for the debut of Tom's new drink, Snake Juice, Leslie sees that Anne has blown off her preparation work to go out dancing. The two get into their first major fight while everyone else gets extremely drunk from Tom's drink. The next day, with Ben's help, a regretful Anne and Leslie make amends, and Anne receives the part-time City Hall job. Meanwhile, Chris forces Tom to sell his shares in the Snake Hole Lounge because it conflicts with his government job, much to Tom's disappointment. Now, this was the very first episode directed by none other than Amy Poehler.
No,
or written by Amy Poehler. That's right.
Yeah, that confused me because it was written by her, not directed by her.
Now, this episode had a lot of improvisation. So the entire scene where you see the upfront, the close-ups of everybody when they're drunk, all of it was improvised. And Amy Poehler has been on record saying that was the hardest day of shooting. Baba booey, baba booey.
Mama Mooey.
And of course, that also the Ron Swanson dancing gift is from this episode.
Yeah, it is.
Are you trying to find it?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. But yeah, this snake juice, man, that shit is deadly. Trying to see if it actually tells me what it's made out of. Well, first thing, it's delicious. Like even Ron gave it as a proof of approval, and he's usually oh God, what's the name of the? He's usually a specific Scotch drinker. I just can't remember what the Scotch brand is off the top of my head. I want to say Glenfiddich, but I know I'm wrong. Oh, Lagavulin? Something like that. Yeah, they don't frickin' tell me. But yeah, no, it's beauty. Basically, 2 drinks, you're drunk. And there you go. God bless you, Nick Offerman. Yeah. No, this is a fun episode. Like, it's just too many good things to name. It's like, at this point, I recommend you guys have to watch it.
It is. Well, yeah, it is my number 2 for a reason now.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your number 2?
We just did my number 2.
No,
With Sebastian. We're on to the honorable mentions, Ben.
Oh, okay.
Okay, what's your honorable mentions?
Museum Blitz.
Okay.
Camping. Time Capsule.
I have Eagleton Camping Time Capsule Flu Season. All right. So now on to my number 1. Ron and Tammy, Part 2.
Nice.
Just as Ron and Wendy break up when Wendy decides to move back to Canada, Ron's ex-wife Tammy returns to try to make Ron's life miserable. Tom, still angry about Ron dating Wendy, brings Tammy to a date to make Ron jealous. Instead, Ron and Tammy reconnect and end up remarrying each other in the middle of a night of drinking and wild sex that leaves them both in prison. Leslie asked Police Chief Trumple to release Ron as a favor, even though the favor she originally planned to ask was for the police to volunteer officers for security at the Harvest Festival. Later, Ben asks the chief for that favor as well, and he agrees out of respect for Leslie. Tom tries to stop Ron from proceeding with Tammy, which causes Tammy to beat him senseless. Realizing Tammy's a horrible woman, Ron breaks up with her. Meanwhile, April fills in as Chris's assistant, and impressed with her, he asks April to work with him in Indianapolis, much to the chagrin of Van and Andy. Now, easily the most memorable and iconic thing to come out of this episode. And this is actually what convinced me to start watching the series, because when my best friend Amber was on my ass to watch it, she sent me the clip of Ron, Ben, and Leslie in the car after they got him out of jail. Ron's got cornrows. He's dressed in a kimono, and he's missing the middle part of his mustache. Ben says to him, "That's quite the look, shaving off the middle of your mustache." And Ron's like, "No, it rubbed off from friction." And it was at that moment that I realized I had to watch the show. And for my friend's birthday, I gave her an Amazon gift card, which actually got her to buy the limited edition Funko Pop of Ron Swanson with dreads and a kimono.
Wow. It is a great episode.
Yeah, I'm going to try to bring up Ron Swanson friction. But yes, this is what he looked like. Yep. That is dedication, man. That is dedication.
Only Nick Offerman, man. Only Nick Offerman.
And I know they're playing like mortal enemies in the show, but him and Megan Mullally are great. She's. I'm not gonna lie, I prefer Tammy over Karen.
Oh,
from
really?
Will and Grace. Yeah,
really.
Yeah.
I
love Karen. Don't get me wrong. I love Karen. I love it when her friendship with Jack. I love her closeness with it's Rosita is the maid.
Yeah.
I really do like her, but there's just something about her. It's Tammy. It's perfect.
Well, part of what makes it so perfect is our chemistry.
Exactly.
Yeah, of course. I mean, they're married. Of course they're going to have great chemistry.
Yeah. Exactly. And like you got the great chemistry. They're both very, very funny people with good improv skills. Like pretty much a lot of the stuff they do when they're together is all improv.
Yeah.
Like example, in the first Ron and Tammy episode, when they get to the hotel and they're running and she rips off her top, that was not in the script. She actually did that.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, and we realize just how strong Tammy is and how weak Tom is. Because she throws him pretty easily into a shelf of books. And then Ron scoops him up and holds him in his arms like he's the bodyguard.
Well, what did he say about Tammy? Wait.
Oh, she's a psycho. See you next Tuesday. I mean, what?
No, I'll activate her.
No, you can ask me now. I mean, we're on air. Let's ask me.
When does Tammy 1 come into play? Is that next season?
Yes, so she is hinted at the end of this season, and she appears in the first episode of season 4.
What did he say about Tammy 1 that makes Tammy 2 run up the screaming?
Right? Like, Tammy 1 is nuts. And then you meet Ron's mom, and you're like, well, it makes sense. Yeah. So after Ron Swanson shaved his mustache, Nick Offerman had to wear a fake one for the next 3 episodes. This marks the first time that Ben mentions calzones as his favorite food. And this is the 3rd episode where we see Burt Macklin, FBI.
Third? No, first.
The 3rd.
Okay. Yeah, wow.
No, it's such a fun episode. It really is. Just honestly, that is the most ridiculous thing that Ron Swanson has ever done. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, and when it aired, it was seen by 5.03 million people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can actually bring up a picture of the Ron Swanson Funko Pop that my friend got. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, she has this on her work desk, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can even get this one.
Which one is that? Oh.
That's the snake juice one.
Oh.
This is the one I have. Just regular old Ron Swanson.
Nice.
That's all I need.
Nice.
All right, Ben. And what is your number one?
Lyricism.
Really? Okay. It is a good episode. It really is.
This is the episode when I realized, okay, I love the show.
Right.
Because maybe the whole office comes down and goes through, and you see how each of them reacts. Well, Chris keeps denying it until he realizes he can't deny it. He goes nuts. Leslie is committed to going to her speech. He gives a great speech even under the sick. You see the beginnings of Ben absolutely caring about Leslie.
That is true. This is the first episode you do see that.
And you see April is being a bitch to Anne.
Yep.
And then,
and let's not forget, this has what has been voted multiple times as the best line in the show.
Go ahead. I don't know what it
Tells
is.
Leslie, I think I might have found out what your problems are. It says here you have network connectivity problems. He went to Google up what she had on the internet, and that was what he found. Came up right on the spot, and the writer Greg Daniels says it is the funniest line in the whole show, and I gotta admit, it is one of the funniest lines in the whole show.
Oh my god.
Network connectivity. Yeah. Leslie, I typed your symptoms into the thing up here, and it says you could have network connectivity problems.
God loves Chris Pratt.
Oh god, yeah. I know a lot of people give him shit, but Chris Pratt is great at improv, like making things up on the spot that make it into the show.
I'll say it right here. He is the funniest Chris.
Yeah, he is.
Easy.
Oh, for sure. But there's also something you did forget. Like, you did mention that April was being a dick to Andy, but
no, April was being a dick to Anne, not Andy.
And Andy.
Okay.
Because it had come out that in a fit of desperation, Anne had kissed Andy, who April at this point had just had feelings for. So she hates Anne, and she's mad at Andy. I'm just going to read the synopsis real quick because I can't actually find the thing in here. Okay, so flu season strikes Pawnee, and Anne must care for the flu victims at the hospital, which include April, Leslie, and Chris. While April tries to make life hard for Anne as revenge for kissing Andy, Ron needs an assistant to fill in for April and selects Andy, whom he bonds with over the Colts, or the Indianapolis Colts, lunch, and playing football in the parking lot. Anne finds out Leslie stole April and Chris's flu medicine to go make her speech to convince business owners to donate items for the Harvest Festival with Ben, who tries to get her to remain in the hospital. However, to Ben and Tom's surprise, Leslie makes a flawless speech. Tom tries to squirm out of working on the speech to go hot tubbing at a club, which they discover is essential since the three old guys he hot tubs with own car dealerships, and they've offered to donate cars for the festival. Ed must care for Chris, who's so healthy. His immune system and 2.8% body fat makes him very weak and prone to disease. Ironically, Chris gets the flu and is bedridden to the joy of Anne. Chris recovers and asks Ben if she should prolong her stay in Pawnee instead of returning to Indianapolis, and they both decide to prolong their stay. And April didn't want Andy to go visit her at the hospital, but Ron says, you know what? He finally tells Andy, and what does he does? He goes by her side and he waits. And waits. And that's when you realize that, okay, they're going to be going somewhere pretty quick here.
I love them together. They're cute. I mean,
they're crazy cute. Not like they're oh, it's crazy that they're cute. No, they're fucking crazy, but they're cute.
You know, that I think that's the best way to describe their show.
Crazy but cute?
Crazy but cute.
I like that. That is actually very apt because they're all nuts. they're all good at what they do, but it's the idiosyncrasies of the characters that make them memorable.
Always is crazy and wacky, but Parks and Rec is crazy and cute.
Yeah, there are definitely more cute moments in the show than, say, The Office, for sure, which does have its fair share of cuteness as well.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I can't wait till we can come to The Office, and God knows when we're going to do that, but...
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah. We have so many show ideas, guys. All this keeps growing and growing and growing.
So it's true, it does. So one of the things, if you go on Wikipedia, whenever you read up on an episode at the very end, they have a cultural references section. So for this episode, Ben compares Leslie's delivery of a perfect presentation despite having the flu to Michael Jordan's infamous flu game during the 1997 NBA Finals. During the 5th game of the series, Jordan led the Bulls to victory despite suffering from a serious case of the flu. Ben also compares Leslie's speech to the famous home run baseball player Kirk Gibson hit off of pitcher Dennis Eckersley during the 1988 World Series, despite Gibson suffering from injuries to both legs at the time. Honestly, it is one of the most iconic home runs in Major League history, in World Series history. He wasn't supposed to play at all that game. They were tied, so they put him up to bench to pinch hit, and he fucking hits the game-winning home run. Like, that cemented his career right there.
Wow.
While bonding, Ron and Andy discuss the draft history of the Indianapolis Colts, and when Andy suggests Ron eat a burrito called the Meat Tornado, Ron says, "You had me at Meat Tornado," which is a reference to Jerry Maguire. And while deluded by the flu, Leslie mistakenly refers to the Chamber of Commerce as the Chamber of Secrets. At one point, while practicing her speech delirious with the flu, Leslie turns to a wall person and says, "Good evening, everyone. I'm Leslie Monster, and this is Nightline." Later, while still delirious, Leslie introduces Ben to the presentation audience as Scott Bakula from Quantum Leap.
I love this episode. It is my number one. It's my alert. It might be my favorite episode of the whole show.
I'm starting to think that's possibly why Ron and Tammy 2 ended up placing higher, because it's similar to me. Like, that's seeing that image of Ron Swanson is what got me to finally watch the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Matt, tell the good people what we have to look forward to next week. Season 4.
Some Leslie Knope. It's a whole season of Leslie Knope on the campaign trail.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're gonna get that. You're gonna get Ron. You're gonna get Ben and Leslie getting found out, and the aftermath of that. You are gonna see things like obviously, like I said, Leslie campaigning, all the different ways she has to try to get people to vote. Like, for example, going bowling. Leslie trying to fix Anne up on Valentine's Day. We get the return of a former boyfriend of Leslie's, played by a disgraced comedian. We find out that Jerry's birthday is on the leap year. So they do an episode where they throw him a Sweet 16 party, which would make him 64 years old. Holy shit. You know what's funny? He's maybe 5 years older than Rob Lowe in real life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Rob Lowe is just now starting to look his age.
Is he really? I have to take a look.
Why not?
And also we have the introduction sorry to stub my foot. We have the introduction of Catherine Hahn, who appears in this season and in season 5 as rival campaign manager. You also have Sean Hayes from the aforementioned Will and Grace do in an episode as well. You also have Leslie and her political opponent debating, and the political opponent is played by none other than Paul Rudd, who he's so charming in this series for being such a dumb fucking character. I swear, it's like every episode he gets dumber.
Well, okay, there's people to the MCU. You have Star-Lord, you have Scott Lang, and you have Agatha.
You're right. God, how great would it be to see Nick Offerman in the MCU?
Okay, who would you want him to play?
A fucking bureaucrat. It would be perfect. Because in truth, Nick Offerman actually does hold similar beliefs to Ron Swanson.
Nice.
It's not as extreme. And also in this season, we also get the final day of the campaign tour where Leslie Knope accidentally crashes a funeral in her campaign bus with her picture plastered all over the side. And then the final episode of the season is the election itself, which is a...
No, don't forget we have a wedding next season, I believe.
In season 4?
I think so.
No, that's
Maybe
actually
not.
season 3. Because that was before Ben moved into the house. Because if you remember, in the episode, he says, I was here just for a wedding 5 weeks ago.
Yeah, you're right. Interesting how that episode did not make it onto even one of our lists. And it's a pretty big episode.
Yeah, that's right. Because in that episode, you had Andy asking everybody to be his best man.
Yeah. Who is it that wanted to be the best man? Was that Tom?
Oh, of course it was Tom.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, that's what we have to look forward to next week. God damn, do I love this show. Ugh. Anyways,
This is
Ben.
a good one. This is a good one.
Yeah, it is a good one, and I'm so happy that you liked it. I really, really am.
Can you imagine if I hated this?
Dude, then it would have been great conversation, to be honest. Two opposing sides.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Well, anyways, Ben Macklin, where can the people find you?
You can find me on my Twitter at Ben_Radio every Tuesday on Twitter with Matt here, every Friday on this, every Saturday on Get Sweaty, also on Saturday, Matt Schmodown, my Schmodown show where we go into players' careers. For the summer we're going into careers, not careers, but we're deep diving into factions. This week we're diving into the dungeon, and we might have a surprise or two in store for you guys.
And I know the potential surprise, and it is worth it. And as for myself, you can find me over my personal Instagram and Twitter at soda_the_saxman. You can find me currently in my apartment, in my underwear, in front of the air conditioner, because it's hot as balls in BC right now. And when I'm not doing that, you could just, like I said, Ben, you can always find me on all the shows on here, as well as Schmodown Night in Canada every Friday night. And producing Let's Talk About Star Wars every Saturday night, which is a lot of fun. Ben here was a guest on the last 2 episodes. So yeah, that's wherever you can find me, and that's where you can find Ben. So on behalf of the both of us, I would like to say thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next week when we go over Ron Swanson's next list of Sweatiness for Parks and Rec Season 4. So, y'all have a good day, everybody.